Welcome along to Trail Runners. We are going to show you in this video how a harness should fit correctly. There's no such thing as a perfect harness, but there is a perfect fit for your dog. And what we're going to try and show you is the key places on your dog where the harness should actually fit for them. Okay, without getting too technical, there's a couple of little bits that would be really helpful that you know about anatomy so that you can actually make sure that your harness fits correctly. On all dogs, some it's more prominent than others, you'll have this bit here, which is the sternum. This is a sticky out bit that you'll find on your dog's chest. That's where we want the harness to actually fit on. A really good test for this on a human is if you find your own part, which is on your chest here, and you find the bony bit just below your windpipe, and you press into there. You can press really, really hard. Move up a couple of centimetres and press there. Then you suddenly realise that you're on your windpipe, and that's exactly the same area that we have on the dogs. So what we want to ensure is that the harness fits nicely on there and doesn't slip up at all, which is then going to restrict your dog's breathing. Up above here we've then got the shoulder blades. So here we have the tops of the shoulder blades here. We want to make sure that there's nothing restricting these blades here, so they can move really forward and they've got a full range of movements. Similarly, we want to make sure that there is actually enough space behind the dog's front legs, so again the harness doesn't restrict the movement. Some harnesses will be shoulder harnesses, which will finish roughly at about this point here. Again, we want to make sure that it's not actually across where these spinous processes change direction, because that's a weakness. So what we want to make sure is it just comes past there. As you can see with the dogs, we've got the last rib here, floating rib. These ribs here, we want to make sure again that the harness finishes right on the last rib here to make sure that it doesn't slip back onto the fleshy part here, which means its breathing will be restricted. As I said earlier, there's no such thing as a perfect harness. If whatever suits your dog, your make of dog, your build of dog, that's what is going to be the best thing for them to work in. If they're not comfortable, they're not going to pull for you. So we've got to make sure that the harness fits absolutely spot on for your dog. So what we're looking for is that it fits nicely on this bony part at the front, the sternum, and it's not going to slip up into the airway here. So nice fit onto the sternum. This one, as you can see underneath, cups his deep chest quite nicely. Plenty of room then between the front legs and then when the harness comes here. What we need to do then is make sure that we're going to give it a tug from the back. So I'm going to ask my assistant here to give it a nice tug. What we want to make sure happens is that it doesn't slip down onto the ribs here, okay, past the ribs. So the pull and the force actually comes nicely through. It then finishes just at the base of the tail here. So this actually is a perfect fit for him. It's a good fit around the neck, it's not slipping back onto the top of the shoulder blades, it's staying on the sternum as we put that pressure into it, and it's a good length here. What we've also got on the end of this harness in particular is we use what's called an Eskimo hook. So this is actually a plastic toddle that actually fits over the lead, which we can show you later, to make sure you haven't then got a clip that bounces around at the base of your dog's tail. Again, as long as you keep to those points when you put the harness on, that it fits at the sternum, it doesn't slip too far over the shoulder blades to impinge any movement there, it doesn't come past the last rib so that it's uncomfortable for the dog, then you've got a harness that works well for your dog and fits well. So what would be really great if you go away now and look at your dog or dogs and check if you can find where their sternum is, where that bony landmark is there. See where the top of their shoulder blades are. You should easily be able to feel those through the top of the skin here. So feel those two landmarks, pop your harness on and make sure that it fits correctly. There's plenty of movement with your dogs, with the shoulders and with the coming behind the front legs as well.